afternoon, Carousel, Landmark staff.
Hold on, just read it in here.
Read into the record.
Hold on.
Okay, the item we're starting off with is item number 19, an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan. Docket number 15-3901, block 1287, lot 14, 488 Madison Avenue, the Look Building, an individual landlord. A streamlined modern office building designed by Emery Roth Sons and built in 1950. The application is to alter the ground floor, install signage, and modify the marquee.
Good afternoon, Carousel, Landmark staff. The Look building is located on the west side of Madison Avenue, 52nd Street to the north, and 51st to the south. The application is to replace existing two-story storefront on all three street facades. And with new storefront design, including reintroducing possible glass stand below the third floor window and above the first floor, as well as modifying the entrance marquee and installing storefront signs. The architect is here to do the architect.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Hill with Goldstein Hill and West. Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Hill with Goldstein Hill and West. Here today to speak to you about the Look building. Our client came to us and asked us to see what we could reimagine for the base of the Look building. It had renovations done to it in the 80s, where the lower floors of the building to replace the existing storefront and windows here on the second floor with heavier mullions and a black metal panel that covered this cast granite piece here. So that was done in the 80s. We went back, we took a look at the field conditions, and we found a bunch of historical photographs and a few drawings when we were doing our research. And our design intent was to come back and recreate the patterning, take inspiration from the patterning of what was originally done in place of how it was today. So today you can see the problem with it is that the black metal panel, this black aluminum panel, is very heavy on the base of the building here. And the mullions every single mullion is repeated instead of the lighter, more whimsical pattern that was there originally where they skipped every other mullion. So we took some inspiration from that to create our new design. While we were doing our research, we also opened some probes on the aluminum that was there to see what we found underneath. So aluminum panels were removed here. We found the cast granite did exist, but each panel, every seam, has several bolt holes drilled through it. And the whole surface of the facade has been pulled out about 4 inches from its original position. These are other existing condition photographs of the base of the building. This entrance is changed in its configuration from the original pattern, which was 3 bays. The entrance has been narrowed to just the center bay. Retail space was filled in at some other time, left and right of the main lobby. The lobby is one that my firm also redesigned the interior design of this lobby a few years ago, and we brought the materials out to engage with this column. This is the canopy that's there today. It's not the original canopy. And these are just base conditions here at the water table and the end condition of the aluminum panels. So our proposed design was not to recreate what was there, not to fool anybody in a recreation, but to take inspiration from the building. And our design goes back to the original patterning for the mullions, where you can see that some mullions align, then we've left blank mullions where they originally had larger sheets of glass, and then reintroduced the mullions here. So we're coming back to the original patterning of the mullions here. And then we're using also stainless steel, which was the original material of the storefronts that were there. And we are also introducing this milky white glass here at the signage van, and also replacing that black aluminum that runs along the top here and down the sides with this milky white glass that we plan to install. So this storefront work will all be reinstalled in the plane where the current storefront is today. We've also designed a new canopy in the center bay. We did make some changes after our community board meeting. We changed the material of the canopy. We changed the positioning of the letters to sit on top of the canopy as the original did. And we changed the column covers here to stainless steel. This is a typical retail bay. Again, our milky white glass and the signage band here. Stainless steel letters that would be, backlit from within the letter, just reflecting off the light on the glass. Daytime and nighttime shots of the signage. And a typical detail. This is showing, I guess we probably don't need to go through this, but this shows what the storefront is today. Originally, the storefront flared out on either side. And that's a second. I'm some technical, but that's the gist of it.
Fine. Questions? Anyone? Yes.
Just to confirm, the new storefront is proposed to remain 4 inches outside of the original storefront, is that right?
Yes, in the location where it is
It
today.
is today.
Yes.
And you can't put it back to the closet because that would be ill.
A lot of changes within the building, the slab edges and other things that were modified back when they did this renovation work.
Okay, I think I'll go to the testimony and we'll come back to it. Yes, yeah, sure.
The old limestone, was that the same plane as the brick? Or was it cast?
Yes, no, it's not limestone, it was
Or whatever, the cast?
genuine cast granite. How's that?
There you go, there. Genuine cast granite, was it?
It was in the same line as the brickwork above. So this panel here of brick, the cast stone would have been in the same line.
Is your glass going to be in the same?
It's going to be 4 inches out.
4 inches out.
Yep, 4 inches out.
Okay. Barbara Say.
Barbara Say, East York District's Council. HDC appreciates that this proposal strives for mid-century elegance, but finds some of its components do not quite achieve this effect. HDC finds the use of stainless steel for the proposed marquee to be appropriate, but asks that the proportions of the proposed sign band be reworked, as the proposed appears much wider than the original. We were going to request that the use of standing numerals and lettering to match the original signage, but I see that you've altered that. Finally, HDC questions the necessity of the rather bulky matte painted vertical metal fins in the proposed storefront frame and asks that these be made less prominent. Thank you.
Okay. Any other testimony? Any comment on what?
Just one.
Up in the front,
Some of those issues came out of also the community board. But we thought they were great comments. We did change the lettering on the canopy. We also changed the vertical mullions that were graphite gray painted to all stainless. So now all of the storefront that we're doing is stainless. There is no matte gray anymore.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay. I think this is a really nice subtle change. I didn't appreciate that the not so horrible existing storefront was not original. But we can never complain around this table when the original or something much closer to the original inspiration by the original architect is sought. So this is to be applauded. I'm just wanting to see that the bulkheads they seem more or less right to me. I mean, it's not highly detailed, but it looks to me as very close to the original photographs, at least that I see. So I would just ask that maybe the applicant work with staff to be sure that that is the right height for the bulkhead. It changes height because of, I guess, the street level changes. and that the detailing on the canopy is the right detail. Otherwise, I think it's a nice proposal.
Yeah, I concur. I think the materials chosen are appropriate and that the proportions of the storefront are so much closer to where it was originally. The only thing, I guess, because the owner has rented the space, he can't make the entrance lobby of the same proportions that it used to be, which would really be nice because that long side of the building, the canopy looks a little dinky. So I don't know if maybe perhaps the building could be expanded a little bit to have better proportions. It would help.
Michael?
I think in general, I'm in approval of what's happening. However, since we know that beneath the aluminum panels, we have the cast stone band, it may be possible to either restore that, if there are bolt holes, depending on how many bolt holes there are, they can certainly be patched in cast stone. And so I would request that the applicant work with staff to consider the possibility of restoring that band.
Okay, Joan?
I should support this, and I think the last comment made by Michael is a good one. If it's a possibility, obviously it's got a lot of holes in it, probably better off going with the proposed. But I think that overall this is a really very respectful restoration, but it certainly is better than what's there now.
Well, the issue with doing that, apart from the potential condition of that band, is that the storefront here is being called for being forged. Proud of that data. So you have an unusual non-historic relationship between the very prominent two-story storefront and the line and the cast band. For that reason, I opt for a compromise where maybe the material that's used, I think that the frosted glass, the milky glass, is a nice material for the sign band, very subtle. But I think for the formerly precast zone, I think that's a little bit light, and where the architect's original intentions were very clear that this be a kind of a more dressy version of material. I think that a solider material would be better there, either a precast or something like that. That would just differentiate itself from the sign band, de-emphasizing, the glass de-emphasizes that sign band appropriately so, but I think the use of that glass at the base of the building and define that base is not as good as it could be. And in terms of the lobby columns, I agree with these comments in a sense. I think that it could be slightly better if the storefront were jogged a bit, so that maybe the mullion bays immediately adjacent to the columns were recessed, and you could have at least three-quarter full columns there. Just give it a little bit more prominence and importance. Just a minor thing, and that could be done instead.
Chris?
I think in general, there is so much more appropriate to the building, these new storefronts, and we think it's very successful, and there are a few comments and trying to improve it in a couple of ways, but I think it's generally very good.
Okay, good. Nice to see the look building being so carefully, obviously you know a lot about it and you care a lot about it, and that's evident. So we will, yes.
One more time.
Yeah.
I think it were possible to get rid of the fluctuated glass at the storefront and make it a bigger piece, to give you more community historic attention.
So, staff will look at that. Fine, so you'll put those staff in a resolution now, Michael, if you would.
What are we doing with
Well,
examples?
You're mixed on that.
we're next you mean on
those,
yeah.
We have the restore limestone, we have the okay with the glass, we have the no limestone, or I'm sorry, precast.
Yeah, precast.
Yeah, well, if I could, Michael mentioned that there would be a problem with that transition. I'm not sure that there necessarily would, but I would be on board with replacement of that encapsulation of the original cast stone with a new cast stone veneer there, rather than the glass
Okay, hearing closed. First, thank you.
All right, regarding the Look building, an individual landmark at 488 Madison Avenue, the application is to alter the ground floor, install signage, and modify the marquee. I recommend approval with modifications, finding that the removal of the existing non-historic utility storefront will not result in the loss of any significant architectural or historic fabric. The plane of the existing storefront glazing, although in front of the location of the original storefront glazing, does not detract from the overall composition of the facade. And therefore, installing a new storefront in this plane will not detract from the special architectural and historic character of the building. That the rhythm of the stainless steel mullions and fenestration pattern will reestablish the historic rhythm of the facades. That certain elements of the storefront, including the presence of the horizontal signage band and bulkheads, are consistent with the storefront, with historical features historically found on this building. That historic works, according to the Certificate of No Effect 08-0003, and the new storefronts approved under the C of A 07-9808.
Something happened.
Oops, sorry. Oops, wrong one. Let's roll that back. Historically found in this building. Right. That the louvers have been consolidated to a centralized location on the secondary street facade on the 51st and 52nd Street side, so that they will not detract from the primary Madison Avenue facade. And of the proposed storefront material, including white opaque glass at the storefront signage band, the dark stone bulkhead, and dark stone bulkhead, which refers to the building's historic aesthetic while expressing modern materiality. I also recommend that the applicant work with the staff to verify whether or not it's possible to restore the underlying precast band above the second floor. And if that is not restorable, or if there are other technical reasons why that is not feasible, that it would be encapsulated within a new precast material of a similar design to what was existing, and that minor modifications be made to the glazing at the entry lobby, and that the applicant work with staff to try to minimize or eliminate the butt joints in the glass at the surface.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approved to work with the staff. Thank you.
Thank you.